Business owners, my fellow citizens, I'd like to introduce to you Mitzi Baum, CEO, Stop Foodborne Illness. She too sits on ANSI's board, the American National Standards Institute, and she's on the board's roster. My name is Daryl Guberman. I am the CEO of Guberman-PMC, LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. I assist companies in manufacturing and quality, and also special processes and ISO certification and all derivatives. Mitzi, I'm going to have to tell you something from Thomas Paine, if I may, because when I show you the rest of this mess, I'm doing this because you are a board member there. Most CEOs have no clue about their employees, nor government agencies about their employees being involved with such dreck, and I'm sure you know what that means. So, Mitzi, it is impossible to comprehend the moral mischief, if I may so express it, that mental lying has produced in our society. When a man or woman has so far corrupted and prostituted the chastity of their mind as to subscribe their professional belief to things they do not believe, they have prepared themselves the commission for every other crime. Business owners, this video today is about ANSI's mission statement, half a nut fuck you, by Russ Chaney, chairman, silence by Corp.Member Mitzi Baum. And she sits right there on the organization. You can't make this up. In June of 2022, I applied to go as director at large because I figured if their mission statement is have enough fuck you, maybe I can assist them in getting back to the nuts and bolts of what quality is supposed to be. Quality is supposed to be quality, not telling people names, not calling people names, and all the rest of that mess. Alrighty? I've read every document ANSI had on protocols. I've read about ethics and morals and all the rest of that stuff. And Russ Chaney broke every one of those. So I put a 54-page nominating document into this, into ANSI. I looked and I had to answer nine questions concerning what it is that I can bring to the table at ANSI, and I did. And at the end, it said, the committee appreciates your interest in serving in an ANSI leadership position and your willingness to provide us this additional information. Sincerely, Russ Chaney. And there it is. Yes, Russ Chaney at the bottom. In 2013, Mitzi, and the reason why I bring this up is in 2013, a Mr. Dave Levy, a Region 3 director of the American Society for Quality, was at my seminar that I gave to the Fairfield County and New Haven County ASQ branches concerning quality and how it's out of control, and it truly is. He approved our 50% because at the time, the American Society for Quality owned ANAB, the American National Crediting Board, 50-50. So I got a 50% thumbs up. But I didn't accept that because at the time, it was 2013. I got 50% approval, thumbs up, all the rest of that. And we're going to continue. In 2016, Randy Doherty, he was vice president ANAB at one time, but in 2016, he was the technical advisor for ANAB. And he was also the treasurer and principal on the IF tax form 990. And he basically asked us if we wanted to join, we could. It's all voluntary. So what this was that other 50% I needed. So I had 100%. And if you don't think just this invitation is 100%, well, let me just show you the 100%, because this was on the same letter. And it stated, Mitzi, but we recognize and accept that there are conformity assessment bodies and accreditation bodies, such as your body and your accreditation body, that are not part of the IAF and ILAC structure. Well, if you watch my video concerning the National Institute of Standards and Technology, you will see how a man from the National Institute of Standards and Technology Manufacturing Extension Partnership in Connecticut wrote me a disparaging letter to one of my customers. I'm going to read that, but I'm going to hold off right now. So he said, we're not part of the ILAC and IAF, which is the International Accreditation Forum incorporated in Delaware. ILAC is the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation. ANAB and ANSI are underwriters for both IAF and ILAC. Okay? For those people who are not privy to the American Bar Association or legalese, this is what an underwriter does. Business owners, also, I have to take one of these and add this to this because I want to show Mitzi. ANSI is a private not-for-profit corporation that has federal agencies and corporations on board. Mitzi, here's something you probably don't even know and don't even care, but you have to know this. Because in order for you to progress with quality, rather than say half a nut fuck you like your former chairman, and now he's the immediate former chair sitting on the 2022 board. And remember this, business owners, he's also the chairman of the nominating committee that he called me up in 2019 and said that on the phone. A representative of ANSI. Okay, here it is. Randy Dory in 2015 was the vice president of ANAB, chairman of the IAF, and also sitting on the IAF tax form as a principal, 990. He handed over leadership in 2015 to 2021 to this communist Chinese national, Zhao Jinwu, who's been involved with our quality since 1994. Zhao Jinwu was also the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services in Beijing, China, and he is mandated by his country of origin, Mitzi, to take your data through China National Intelligence Law, Article number 7. ANSI and ANAB, ANSI took over complete control over ANAB in 2018. You have federal agencies and corporations on board. To make matters worse, Mitzi, if I may, for those Americans who are proud to be American, especially the veterans, you have over 10 different registrars in communist China. Remember, they've got China National Intelligence Law, Article number 7, mandated to take your data. They got 10 registrars that can issue an ANAB accredited certificate. Also, you have both Pakistan and Iran sitting on the IAF, incorporated in Delaware, no less. Okay, Pakistan, who harbored Osama bin Laden, killing 3,000 people and more. You also have Iran, who admitted to harboring some of the terrorists of 9/11. Do you remember that, Mitzi? I hope you do. And I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the politicians like everything else, and that's coming up very shortly. You have Zhao Jinwu in the Wuhan lab, ISO 17025 for Quality Certification Laboratory. He is now standing there. He was the chairman of the IAF, International Accreditation Forum Incorporated in Delaware, and also the China National Accreditation Services in Beijing, China, chief executive. When Daryl Rand Paul, senator, inquisitioned Anthony Fauci, NIH, you also have the CDC, FDA, Johnson & Johnson. You also have Pfizer, USDA, FBI, DOT, FTC, the FAA. They all sit, of course I said FDA and FAA, they all sit on ANSI's board. You find anything wrong with that yet, Mitzi? Who knows? Well, remember they asked about gain-of-function research and Fauci said, I don't know. Well, he's full of, this comes the term half a nut fuck you, because that's what ANSI states as their mission statement per Russ Chaney, who at the time he said that on the phone to me, he was the chairman. So that must be, without a doubt, their mission statement. I took a look deeper, Mitzi, if I may, and I looked at laboratory accreditation, and this is what it came out with. It said most of the failures are in accredited labs. I looked even further, Mitzi, and I discovered laboratory failure. There's a ton of different issues going on in lab. And then I pulled a disposition and a inquisition about Pamela Sale under sworn oath. Just like, remember, Anthony Fauci said, I don't know anything about gain of function. Well, she's basically telling you that your cert is not just a fraud, it's just no good. And this is what she says. And I'm going to begin at the beginning. She said, I know it's going to sound shocking when I say this, Sales said at the meeting, but there were no nonconformities with our auditing process. She went on to clarify that the auditing process could be improved. Well, if there was no problem, why does it need improvement? Unbelievable. And furthermore, one of the issues is that there is no commonly agreed upon set of standards that forensic labs around the country have to follow. Instead, there are informal guidelines that labs can choose to follow or not. And by the way, business owners, This video again is about ANSI's mission statement, Half a Nut Fuck You by Russ Chaney, Chairman, Silence by Mitzi Baum, CEO of Stop Foodborne Illness. And we continue. I did a video, Mitzi, on A2LA sitting on ANSI's board, and that something's wrong because A2LA is used by many of the forensic labs that sit on the board, kind of improper, the fox watching a hen house, and they were also watched over by communist China sitting on the IF between 2015 and 2021. A woman, an Ashley Morton, basically wrote underneath my video after I exposed that, and she said that A2LA does not sit on ANSI. They are both separate American accreditation bodies with equal standing. Well, Mitzi, does this look like they're separate? Absolutely not. You should know. You sit on the board. So we continue on. At the time Russ Chaney said this to me, he was the chairman. And here's the roster, Mitzi, from 2019. Yep, he's a chairman. So when he said half a nut fuck you, that must be ANSI's mantra or mission statement. That must be, because he's the leader. And let me just play this for you, Mitzi. If you don't believe it, I'm going to play it for you. Did that sound like it, Mitzi?
This is Russ Chaney. Please leave a message and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Record you.
So we looked even further, Mitzi, and we discovered that the board must approve of it where you sit. The government agencies must approve it because where they sit. And everybody approves what Russ Chaney said. I sent a letter to Joe Batia, the CEO of ANSI, in 2019, asking for an apology. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted, Mitzi, was an apology. Big men can say, I'm sorry, but when they're doing devious deals, and you can tell by Joe Batia's bloodshot eyes, I've watched him in many videos, stress and strain. He knows what he's doing out there is not good quality. And Russ Chaney happened to confirm it with his words of half a nut, fuck you. I sent it to Joe. Joe sent it to the attorney, Jameson Carroll of Carroll and Weiss in Atlanta, Georgia. And he said, after analysis, we are unable to identify any harassing or objectionable content in the brief audio file provided. So they all should be stepped down, Mitzi. But I went to New York to ANSI on a Saturday. There was nobody there, and you looked around. There's not only no sign outside, there's nothing. I went to L Street in Washington, D.C., Northwest, 1899 L Street, and I picketed them. And I held this sign out because, after all, that is what Russ Chaney said. And I will play it one more time, my dear, because you know something? You have to hear what that man who you sit with says. And that's all you need to hear, Mitzi. So, as a board member, and you sit there, I have something to ask you. Do you approve of your mission statement? It sure as hell looks like you must approve of it because nobody has yet said anything. And I applied for director, a director at large, because they have no representation on ANSI of anybody who is $1 million or less organization. They have all these corporations and federal agencies on board. I don't know how much you're doing with Stop Foodborne Illness, but I'm sure it's over $1 million a year or better. So I'm going to leave it here, business owners. I leave it with Mitzi, and let's see what happens, because this is disgusting. Okay, a board member, we have an actual board member here with us, listening to what Russ Chaney said their mission statement is. And as I say again, their mission statement, per Russ Chaney, is that 203-556-1493 or Daryl, TQRS@yahoo.com. And Mitzi, the reason why I do it is because of integrity, honesty, and the truth. I thank you.